FPLP cable is an acceptable type of cable to use in cable trays according to the National Electrical Code. FPLP cable is a fire-resistant cable designed to maintain circuit integrity during a fire. It also resists moisture and chemicals. There are several things to keep in mind when using FPLP cable in cable trays. Firstly, the cable must be properly supported and secured within the cable tray. Secondly, the cable must not be subjected to excessive bending or pulling. Thirdly, the cable must be protected from damage caused by other cables or objects in the cable tray. Check the local building codes to ensure that FPLP cable is acceptable for the specific application. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, provides guidelines for electrical installations to ensure safety and prevent fire hazard. Cable trays are often used in industrial and commercial settings to support and route cables. FPLP cable, which stands for Firepower Limited Power Cable, is specifically designed for fire alarm systems. The primary advantage of using FPLP cable is its fire resistance. In the event of a fire, the cable is designed to continue functioning, allowing the fire alarm system to operate and alert occupants. This is crucial for life safety. When installing FPLP cable in cable trays, proper support and securing are essential. This prevents the cable from sagging or being damaged by movement or vibration. Cable ties, clamps, or other approved methods can be used to secure the cable to the cable tray. It is important to avoid excessive bending or pulling of the cable. This can damage the conductors or insulation, compromising the cable's integrity. Follow the manufacturer's recommendations for minimum bending radius and pulling tension. Protection from damage is another critical consideration. Other cables or objects in the cable tray can potentially damage the FPLP cable. Separating the FPLP cable from other cables, especially those carrying high voltage or power, can help prevent damage. Using barriers or dividers within the cable tray can also provide additional protection. Local building codes should always be consulted to ensure that the use of FPLP cable is acceptable for the specific application. Local codes may have additional requirements or restrictions beyond those specified in the NEC. It is also important to ensure that the installation complies with all applicable fire safety regulations. When working with electrical systems, safety is paramount. Always to energize the circuit before working on any electrical components. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as gloves and safety glasses. If you are not familiar with electrical work, it is best to consult with a qualified electrician. The NEC provides detailed requirements for cable installations, including cable trays. It covers topics such as cable types, ampacity, grounding, and overcurrent protection. Familiarizing yourself with the NEC requirements is essential for ensuring a safe and compliant installation. The type of cable tray used can also impact the installation of FPLP cable. There are several types of cable trays available, including ladder trays, solid bottom trays, and wire mesh trays. Each type has its own advantages and disadvantages. Ladder trays are commonly used for heavy-duty applications and allow for easy access to cables. Solid bottom trays provide maximum protection for cables but can be more difficult to access. Wire mesh trays are lightweight and offer good ventilation. The choice of cable tray will depend on the specific application and the environment in which it will be installed. When installing FPLP cable in existing cable trays, it is important to inspect the cable tray for any damage or corrosion. Damaged or corroded cable tray should be repaired or replaced before installing the new cable. It is also important to ensure that the cable tray is properly grounded. Grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, helping to prevent electrical shock and fire hazards. The size of the FPLP cable will depend on the ampacity requirements of the fire alarm circuit. Ampacity is the maximum amount of current that a cable can safely carry. The NEC provides tables that list the ampacity of various cable types and sizes. It is important to select a cable size that is adequate for the load. Overcurrent protection is another critical aspect of fire alarm system design. Overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers or fuses, are designed to protect the circuit from overloads and short circuits. The overcurrent protection device should be sized appropriately for the cable capacity. Fire alarm system should also be equipped with a backup power supply. This ensures that the system will continue to operate even if the primary power source fails. The backup power supply should be capable of providing power to the system for a minimum of 24 hours. Fire alarm systems are designed to detect fires early and alert occupants. They typically consist of smoke detectors, heat detectors, manual pull stations, and audible and visual notification appliances. The system should be designed and installed in accordance with applicable codes and standards. Regular testing and maintenance are essential for ensuring that the fire alarm system is functioning properly. The system should be tested at least annually by a qualified technician. The batteries in the backup power supply should be replaced every 3 to 5 years. Proper documentation is also important. Maintain records of all inspections, tests, and maintenance activities. This documentation can be helpful for troubleshooting problems and demonstrating compliance with codes and standards. The NEC also addresses the installation of fire alarm circuits in conduit. Conduit is a protective raceway that is used to enclose electrical conductors. It provides mechanical protection for the conductors and helps to prevent fire hazards. There are several types of conduit available, including rigid metal conduit, intermediate metal conduit, electrical metallic tubing, and flexible metal conduit. The choice of conduit will depend on the specific application and the environment in which it will be installed. When installing fire alarm circuits in conduit, it is important to follow the NEC requirements for conduit fill. Conduit fill refers to the amount of space that conductors occupy within the conduit. The NEC specifies maximum conduit fill percentages to ensure that the conductors are not overcrowded and that there is adequate space for heat dissipation. The NEC also addresses the grounding of conduit. Metal conduit must be properly grounded to provide a path for fault current to flow back to the source. This helps to prevent electrical shock and fire hazards. Grounding can be achieved by bonding the conduit to a grounding electrode or by using a grounding conductor. Fire alarm systems are an essential part of building safety. They provide early warning of fires and help to protect occupants. Proper design, installation, and maintenance are critical for ensuring that the system is functioning properly. The NEC provides detailed requirements for fire alarm systems covering topics such as cable types, conduit, overcurrent protection, and grounding. Familiarizing yourself with the NEC requirements is essential for ensuring a safe and compliant installation. In addition to the NEC, there are other codes and standards that may apply to fire alarm systems. These include the National Fire Protection Association, or NFPA, standards, local building codes, and endurance requirements. It is important to consult with all applicable codes and standards when designing and installing a fire alarm system. When working with electrical systems, safety is always the top priority. Always to energize the circuit before working on any electrical components. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as gloves and safety glasses. If you are not familiar with electrical work, it is best to consult with a qualified electrician. By following these guidelines, you can ensure that your fire alarm system is safe, reliable, and compliant with all applicable codes and standards. Remember to prioritize safety and consult with qualified professionals when needed. Fire alarm systems are critical for protecting lives and property. When installing FPLP cable and cable trays, remember the importance of firstly, proper support and securing, secondly, avoiding excessive bending or pulling, and thirdly, protection from damage. Always verify compliance with local building codes and the National Electrical Code. The integrity of the fire alarm system depends on correct installation practices. Regular inspections and maintenance are also essential for ensuring long-term reliability. Keep detailed records of all work performed on the system. This information is valuable for troubleshooting and future maintenance. Electrical work requires knowledge and skill. If you are not comfortable performing the work yourself, hire a qualified electrician. A professional electrician can ensure that the installation is done safely and correctly. Fire safety is everyone's responsibility. By taking the necessary precautions, you can help protect lives and property from the dangers of fire. Always have a fire evacuation plan in place and practice it regularly. Make sure that everyone in the building knows what to do in the event of a fire. Working in a hydroelectric power plant presents unique challenges. Electrical systems are critical for the operation of the plant. Safety is paramount. Always follow established safety procedures and use appropriate personal protective equipment. Stay informed about changes in codes and standards. Continuing education is essential for maintaining your skills and knowledge. By staying up to date, you can ensure that your work is safe and compliant. Fire alarm systems are a critical part of any building safety plan. They provide early warning of fires and help to protect lives and property. Proper design, installation, and maintenance are essential for ensuring that the system is functioning properly. The NEC provides detailed requirements for fire alarm systems, covering topics such as cable types, conduit, overcurrent protection, and grounding. Familiarizing yourself with the NEC requirements is essential for ensuring a safe and compliant installation. In addition to the NEC, there are other codes and standards that may apply to fire alarm systems. These include the National Fire Protection Association standards, local building codes, and insurance requirements. It is important to consult with all applicable codes and standards when designing and installing a fire alarm system. When working with electrical systems, safety is always the top priority. Always energize the circuit before working on any electrical components. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as gloves and safety glasses. If you are not familiar with electrical work, it is best to consult with a qualified electrician. By following these guidelines, you can ensure that your fire alarm system is safe, reliable, and compliant with all applicable codes and standards. Remember to prioritize safety and consult with qualified professionals when needed. Fire alarm systems are critical for protecting lives and property.